Hello, and welcome to this SAP Stay Current video series on SAP Data Hub 2.3. My name is Richard Leblanc. In this four-part video series, you'll learn how to model data ingestion pipelines with SAP Data Hub. In this third video, we'll have a look at the Vora Avro Ingestor operator and see how we can use it to persist the results of the sentiment analysis processing in SAP Vora. In the previous video, we added sentiment analysis processing using the text blob library. We did this by connecting the read file operator to the sentiment analysis operator and configured this operator with custom Python script. Now let's persist the results of the sentiment analysis processing in SAP Vora. To do that, we'll start by searching for a Vora operator called the Vora Avro Ingestor. We'll add that to our canvas and we'll connect our sentiment analysis output port to the Vora Avro Ingestor input port. The Vora Avro Ingestor will ingest messages of type Avro, CSV, or JSON and load them into SAP Vora. In our case, the messages coming from the sentiment analysis operator are in JSON format. Now that we've connected our sentiment analysis operator to our Vora Avro Ingestor, let's open up the configuration for the Vora Avro Ingestor. The first setting we'll focus on is the format. As I said, our incoming message is of type JSON, so we'll set it to that. The next thing we need to configure is the default Avro schema. This is a JSON string that describes the format or describes the structure of the incoming message. I have that in a file, so I'll go ahead and copy that into this text box. As you can see here, it basically describes the fields, so the structure of the message, the ID, the MD5, so our hash, everything, all of the fields that we saw in the sentiment analysis process. The next setting we need to configure is the connection to our SAP Vora system. So the connection type, we'll choose connection, and then we'll click on this Open Editor button to go and select our connection. We'll choose the configuration manager because we already have a connection to Vora defined in the connection manager. And we'll go ahead and select this Vora connection. Click on Save to save that property. The next setting to configure is found a little bit lower, and it's the database schema. I'll set it to default TA01, as that is where the table that I want to load is located. And then finally, the ingestion mode will set to upsert. And with that, the configuration of our Vora Avro Ingestor operator is complete. The next step is to add another operator to our pipeline. So the operator I'm interested in is this message stop event. This operator is a Python-based operator, and it's listening for a notification for from the Vora Avro Ingestor to indicate that all files were read and processed. So we'll go ahead and connect those two operators. And then finally, the last operator I want to add is the graph terminator. This will correctly terminate our graph once all of the files have been read and have been persisted in SAP Vora. ahead on click on our auto layout to make everything look nice. And now our graph is complete, and we can go ahead and save this graph. We can now save the graph and go ahead and execute it. Now our graph is scheduled for execution, and now it's running. And finally, we can see that our graph has completed successfully. Now we can go ahead and verify the results. To do so, we'll go back to our Launchpad and open up Vora Tools. In Vora Tools, I can see the various schemas that I have access to. And I'll go ahead and open this default TA01 since this is where we wanted to store the results. And we can see here we have product reviews. This is our product reviews table. We'll right click on it and select data preview. And here we can see our results. The product ID, the hash that was generated, the length of the review text, the review text itself, the polarity, which is a number between -1 and +1, as well as the subjectivity, which is also a number between -1 and +1. To recap, we added the Vora Avro Ingestor operator to our pipeline in order to persist the results of the sentiment analysis processing into SAP Vora. We also added a message stop event operator as well as the graph terminator operator in order to correctly terminate our graph. We then verified in the SAP Vora tools that the results of our sentiment analysis processing were indeed successfully persisted in SAP Vora. In our next video, we'll build the second pipeline, a so-called workflow pipeline. That pipeline will invoke our sentiment analysis pipeline. It will also fetch product data from HDFS and then combine it with the sentiment analysis results that are persisted in SAP Vora. It will combine the two and then persist those results in another table in SAP Vora. And finally, we'll create a chart in Vora Tools to visualize the combined data set.